Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Dorothy, if you don't know who I am, professional astrologer. We're going to talk about the new moon in the sign of Leo. And you've probably heard by now, it is on August 8th. That's called the Lion's Gate, the 8-8 day every year. And it is a very energizing, heart-centered focus day. There's a lot you can do with that. But I'm going to tell you about the astrology, the energy workers will tell you about how to use the Lion's Gate, but it will really coincide a lot with this Leo energy, this Leo new moon. And let's start off new display. I made this myself. I love these are the elemental symbols, right? And so this upward triangle, I can see if I can get my hand there. There it is fire. And this next one, I'm doing this backwards. This next one is earth. This one represents air, and this one represents water. Going to put them in a straight line. I was fussing with them, and all of a sudden it was like bang. I was like, hey, that looks good. I'm not that creative in a lot of ways, in artistic-y ways. I'm not that creative, but apparently I am today. Yeah, well, I did it a couple of days ago. But these are things that you can do while the sun is in Leo. You know, be creative in a way that you've never been creative before. And let me share the screen with you. And I have quite a few things I want to share with you. So let me see if I can get the proper thing up first. Yes, here's the new moon. I had to keep saying the wrong word. Here's that new moon, and it's at 16 degrees. And again, it is about, Leo is about being very creative. And the new moon, we're always taught by a lot of the modern, even not so modern books that talk about the new moon cycle. We're taught that and instructed to initiate new things or to write out new goals and new hopes and new dreams and all of these things. And those are all perfectly fine. But we do need to remember, I mean, we are in, especially these last few days before the new moon, when I'm posting this, we are in the lunar, the end of a lunar phase. And so that's when the moon is waning and she is almost dark. And when we get to the new moon phase, she is a dark moon. We cannot see her. So sometimes we can feel that there is a belief, and I believe this is true, under that new moon, we can't quite see what it is we're setting our goals on. We can't quite see the full picture because the moon is dark and we are not getting any feedback or any reflection. So starting on Wednesday, I'm going to tell you this right now. So Wednesday, August 4th, whenever you see this, but right around midday, Eastern time zone, so right on noontime Eastern time zone, is when the moon is in the final phase before we get to the new moon. It's called balsamic, and that is the bottom of the scale. That's the bottom of the U. Somebody was telling me about this yesterday. It is where we spend time. So Wednesday afternoon until this new moon on Sunday morning. We've got quite a few days. The moon's moving a bit slow right now, so we have a long time in the balsamic phase to spend time contemplating and releasing and surrendering and evaluating and processing, right? Doing all of these things. Let me just animate this chart, see if it will let me do that. Yes, it will. Here I am right now at the time that I'm recording this. No, it's not. Let me hit that. Here we are at the time I'm recording this. It's August 3rd. Let me make sure I am on the right. Yes, I am. Just making sure I'm sharing the correct thing. And, the moon in just a little while will be, like I said, Wednesday afternoon. It will be still at the very end of Gemini with the sun at Leo. So that's what a balsamic, the final phase looks like, is something like this. And so we're going to have quite a few days in that position where it is just moving very, very slowly. Now, so take your time. I'm going to have a few days off. I'm taking a few days off. Friday, I'm usually on vacation right now, so not this year. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm just going to be off. And so I got some time with the balsamic phase just to really see what it is that I'm, sort of letting go. It's a reset time of year for me, just because this stuff's at the base of my chart. And so for me, it's a reset. But for you, it could be take the balsamic time as a reset. And then when we get to this new moon on the 8th of August, we have this opportunity to, know what we're passionate about and to really get engaged in that. And something else that's been, actually happening to me, and I know it's happening to many people, and lots of times we're not sure why. It's just I keep getting these heart palpitations, right? And that's the Leo. And the sun has been in Leo for a few weeks, almost a few weeks now. And, like just before I started doing this, I felt like I was going on stage in front of 10,000 people. I'm like, it's just a video to my camera, like I always do, but I could just feel it. So it feels like anxiety, and it's just because there's just so much going on. And if you're really sensitive, you're going to pick that up. And if this triggers something really close to your own chart, you're going to pick it up too. Now, some of the other things we're going to talk about with this that we should talk about with this new moon is that it is making a square aspect to Uranus. And I've heard a lot of other people talk about it as well, but it is a separating aspect. So the separating aspect, while it's only at 2 degrees as a separating aspect, this is at 14, this is at 16, that means it's separating. They're moving away. And so to me, it's not as potent as if it would have been a new moon applying to 14 degrees, but is beyond 14 degrees. So it gives us this opportunity to be adventurous and be creative, right? But not overly risky, but we still want to feel that surge of energy and power with that moon and the sun square Uranus. So we have that happening. Now it's really close as well to Mercury in Leo. So when it's close to Mercury in Leo, what do we have? Mercury in Leo is definitely very fiery and is ready to speak up and talk up a storm. All right. Now, one of the other things that we have, hold on a second. There we go. There was a lot of noise outside. One of the other things that we have going on simultaneously is to Mercury, and it's called a yod. It looks like an isosceles triangle right here, and that's to Neptune and Pluto. They've been in a sextile for decades. But when Mercury came in at 23 Leo, and the other planets will do the same thing throughout the week, the quincunx, which is one side of it, and again, they come together, it makes a yod. These are about making adjustments. And what adjustments will I make? And anytime I make an adjustment, as soon as it gets settled, we need to move on and make another adjustment. So it feels like there's a lot of moving ground, even though these are, Leo is a fixed sign, still feels like there's a lot of moving ground. We're also in that decan of Jupiter rules this second decan of Leo. And so that is going to increase it's going to amplify how we're feeling. So we really need to, take some time and really get settled in to our own space. And, I'm connected with nature a lot. I always do. I love it anyways. I always have. But lately, this last year or two, it's just been, I'm always doing it. I can't even say this last year has been any more than usual, but it really feels much more. The strength of it is, and the serenity for me is much more important these days. I want you to find that for yourself too. If you can find whatever you find you enjoy in nature, I want you to go out and do that, because that will help to keep you grounded. So you're not so tapped into what's going on in the world. I read my news. I don't watch it because I don't want to feel other people's emotions about what's going on in the world. And, but I want to stay informed. So I read my news. However you want to do it, you do that too. So with that being said, the square to Uranus makes things very, it's a separating aspect. So it will give us just enough of a boost to say, let's try and step out of our comfort zone and do something different that is heartfelt, that we're passionate about, that we want to be creative about. We set those goals, but we know we're setting the goals based off of how we feel about certain things. They don't necessarily have to be tangible material goals. New moons, again, are just an opportunity for us to plant seeds of what we think it is that we want. So I want you to look at that. So let's move further along the way and get some more charts up, because I have other things I want to talk about too. And something else, because I was just looking at my notes when I hit pause. If you want, I love the lunar phase cycles. Each one, there's 4 quarters. We work with 8, but this is a 4-quarter system. And we go in 9-month increments, and it always a new lunar phase starts at every new moon. Again, so make your intentions, do your best just to get in alignment with what your intentions are. And if you have a bad day, don't worry about it, because that happens, because that's the way life is. But you can still create those new moon intentions and how you feel. Journal how you're feeling if you're not interested in writing down, I want X, Y, Z, So put those feelings down, how you're feeling about stuff. And, definitely journal at this new moon phase. And if you do like to follow that, and I do, 9 months from now will be the first quarter. So we'll be able to see what we're beginning right now that is dark, and we can't quite see what we're beginning. We have an idea, but we're not 100% sure. So we'll know 9 months from now what that looks like. It'll be in May 2022. But if we go back 9 months to when the cycle that's ending, we're now beginning a new one. They are related. We had the 4th quarter moon at 16 degrees of Leo, and that was on November 8th, 2020. All right. So globally, we know that's when they were just really getting that vaccine going. Vaccines, plural, whatever. Not anybody had quite had it yet, but it was in that time frame. So we can see potentially what's going on globally. But what about your own world? Look up. I looked, all I could see was I was just working. Well, I didn't write anything, how I was feeling or what I was letting go of. So sometimes I'm as guilty of not doing it as others. But so you can look back to that November 8, 2020, and just, in that time frame, a few days on either side. And, whatever you were finishing up over these last 9 months and surrendering to and letting go of, just like I was talking about this lunar phase before the new moon always is. Now you have a little bit of a launching pad for what this coming new moon should be for you. If you want help with that, that's my profession too. I do private sessions. That's my main gig. So it keeps me super busy. And I hope you would come and join me. So am I sharing anything yet? I have to go share my screen now. Let's go back to sharing my screen. I want to show you so yeah, you can reach me here, nhastrologer.com. And that is where you can find me. So let's pull up the chart wheel. So this is what a blank chart wheel looks like. I'm just going to go full screen for you. This is what a blank chart wheel looks like. That's in perfect order. I use a porphyry system, so you're not going to see 0 degrees on any of the house cusps. Some people use whole sign houses. If you need help with that, just message me privately your birth day, time, and place, and you can email me to nhastrologer.com, and I will tell you where 16 degrees of Leo is in your chart. But this is the ascendant. Look at the counterclockwise, right? I love teaching counterclockwise. The houses go that way. So you're going to hunt down 16 degrees of Leo in your own chart. So let me get up the chart wheels. Here's a bunch of different ones. I have a few of them. You can hit pause anytime you want and take a screenshot. So we're going to show you that. And then we're really going to go into this one. I like this one the best. And yeah, just stuff we filled in. And so if this Leo new moon is in your first house, again, that is, you're going to be focusing on your physical body. All of the Leo things I already said is what's on the table too. And this is in addition to that. All right. So I'm not going to read through all of this because you can hit freeze frame and look at it for yourself. Freeze frame, hit pause. Yes, I am that old. So if it's in your first house, you can see that it has a lot to do with your physical appearance, and goals may be set based off of that. In the second house, it has to do with your finances and your goals and your values. How can I be creative to earn some money, or things such as that, right? If it's in your third house, that has a lot to do with, again, you can read all of these, but our siblings or our communication, our home, our family, early life, our neighborhood. The fourth house is our private life. It is our home as well, how we were raised, the people we were raised with, the nurturing mother. Lots of times we just say the mother or the nurturing parent is more modern way of saying that, so our home, our family, our domestic life, our psychological foundation, what we were taught as kids, all of that is getting, you're able to take that Leo energy and then also add in these qualities too. If it's in the fifth house, that's the natural place for Leo. So, I've got it in my fourth house, so I'm down there and I'm working on family things these days and, trying not to, staying in a heart-centered place personally, so I can be present and as compassionate and helpful as possible without getting totally dragged in. Could be why I'm having heart palpitations. But, we all have a life, right? If it's in your fifth house, again, Leo's natural placement, home, not home, Leo's natural home. And so more Leo being creative and financial speculation and what we're passionate about in our children, things such as that. The sixth house, if you have it in there, that's the daily placement. So it could be that you need to be engaging and setting goals so you can feel a new passion at the work that you do. Not necessarily what you're known for, the career. We'll get to that. This is what the work that we do. It's also the things we do every day. So our health and our wellness, our everyday health and wellness might need a little look-see so we can make the correct adjustments so we'll feel better. If it's in the seventh house, this is the partnership area. So not just your spouse or your domestic partner, but also business partnerships, any of those important back and forth relationships. The new moon there can help initiate something new for yourself. The eighth house is that house of transition and shifts and intimacy and, deeper changes that we come through, inheritances, secrets, the occult, magic, other people's money, a lot of things like that. That will be stirred up, not even stirred up, but you'll be planting seeds as to how you can engage those qualities as well. Up in the ninth house is that area that we have of higher learning, more knowledge, philosophy. What do I believe? You might just discover something is new and fresh and different for you, and you're going to start learning it and studying it. If this new moon happens to be in the 10th house, well, that is a very public area. That could be a new infusion of creativity at work, in your career, really how the public sees you. So that means you have Leo up there. Maybe the company you work for or your company is ready to start a big marketing campaign. Definitely wait till after this new moon to get that started, but it doesn't mean you can't work on it now. And many other things, as you can see here. This is the freedom of astrology. Each sector and each sign and each planet has its meaning. And then you have to filter one through the other, but then we still have choices. I'm not working with political anythings, but this is a political house. But if you're into political stuff, that might be what you're focusing on, right? See what I'm saying? Astrology, so many layers, isn't it? The final two, the 11th house, if that new moon is in the 11th house, new moon's in the 11th house, Jan Spiller tells us is like the granddaddy period. She says it's very important, very big. You can make a lot of, it's that house of hopes and dreams to begin with, as well as friends and acquaintances and associations and causes that we're really have our heart strings attached to because of Leo. So set some decent goals for yourself there. And then if the new moon is in the 12th house, this is the final house. And it is that area of which we have, it is hidden strengths and weaknesses, but we can go within and set goals. You have Leo there. If the new moon is there, that means you have Leo, in your 12th house, and you've always had it there. And so it's about, your ego being sort of hidden under a bushel, if you will, but just sometimes, not always, depends on if it's actually on the ascendant. I don't do whole sign houses because you could have 20 degrees of Leo on your ascendant, and that means this new moon's in the 12th house, and it could still mean that you're a very vivacious person that commands a lot of attention and gets it whether you want it or not. Most of the time they want it. But if you have the new moon in that area without Leo on the rising sign, then you will, the ego will be inner. There'll be a lot of internalized expression of your creativity. So this would be an opportunity for you to slowly bring that out into the world. And 12th house things are related to Neptune. So this might be an opportunity to get out in the public eye in regards to your spirituality, or to work that you want to share with the world, like dream work. Or it could even be an opportunity for you to take your practice, if you're a metaphysician, if you do anything metaphysical, whether it's Reiki or whatever it is, into institutions. So maybe this is an opportunity to share what you really have your heart around, your heart focused on, your passion. And, like some people, for example, taking their Reiki practice finally and, going into institutions, which are nursing homes and hospitals or prisons or those types of institutions. You'll figure out if that's just an idea. It's up to you, whatever it is that you do. Okay, so that was a lot. Do I have any other pictures to share? No, but I will go back to this one just so you can see that one more time. So I am, I have, I think, how I nurture, how I create, how I serve, the partner I have, how I share my resources, how I explore the world, how I achieve in the outer world, how I aspire hopes and dreams of others, and how I dream that spiritual life. So there we are. That's it for today. The new moon in Leo squares Uranus as a separating aspect. So that again means we can take some risks, and there is, to me, if you feel the consequences of it, right? It's our perspective. I'm not going to go down that road. I think I'm just going to leave you right there and come and see me on Patreon. And that's great. And I can help you if you need some personal info. Anyways, I wound that down really weird. Blessings, everybody. Namaste.